Hey everyone, welcome to my channel Inside Knowledge. My name is Anand. Today, my topic is reconciliation. Basically, I'm going to just divide the reconciliation into three different parts and just give you the basic for those reconciliation areas. And in my next videos, I will just divide all these three into their own segments, like what are the reconciliation which is actually done in those three part, so that it will be easy for you to understand on from the all the three perspective, like how does it work. And I'll suggest just go through my previous videos for trade settlement and the investment bankings, different videos which I have posted that will help you to understand the flow from front to end. I'll keep on posting some different videos that will help you to understand the next flow and the next process, which is just linked to trade settlement, reconciliation, middle office, and all those things. I'll try to cover a lot of different topics. For today, I'm going to cover these three recon. Basically, I know you guys must be asking like why only these three, because these three are like these are the major process in the reconciliation in different organizations. So, and it's like they all have the same kind of work, but it's very important to understand why I have put like divided into three different recon areas. Based on my experience, I'm going to share all the details. But for the first, why trade recon? So the trade recon is basically when the settlement is done, when the trade is settled, then we process. Then the next process is trade reconciliation. So here we reconcile whatever trade is settled in the market, and then we try to find out what exactly settlement happened with the counterparties, with the clients, or in the exchange, so that there should be no difference between the actual book and the settlement book. So both sides should be matching. So that's very important to understand the trade recon process. So in trade recon process, basically we have it's divided into two parts. One is known as stock reconciliation, and the second one known as cash reconciliation. So one is stock and second one is cash. This one, stock reconciliation, also known as depot reconciliation, and cash is known as nostro reconciliation. There is another process that is called vostro reconciliation, that is a little bit different. So don't get confused. So always just remember, stock reconciliation is known as depot, and cash reconciliation known as nostro reconciliation. So you might like someone ask you like during your interview, have you worked in nostro reconciliation? So that nostro reconciliation is the cash reconciliation he's talking about. Some people try to use a different term. Some people will try to ask you like, do you know depot reconciliation? So that it means he's only asking for the stock reconciliation part, where we reconcile only the stock part for the trade which was settled in the market. Now you'll ask me why when the trade is settled, why are we reconciling two different parameters like stock and cash? It's very important. Stock, when it's settled in the market, they should always match with their stock between the what statement you are getting from the exchange and what it is booked at your side, that is known as ledger. So what is booked in the internal book, you need to match these two, because if there is a mismatch between these two, then there will be a break between the bank and the exchange notice, or you can say the holdings. So it's very important to match these two correctly. That's why stock reconciliation is important. The other point is like sometimes stock means get settled, if it is settling on the exchange, it gets settled in the pieces. So if it is settling at the pieces, like, then it will be hard for you to match how many trades, what was the stock was delivered or received at exchange if it is settling in three different parts and you have trade book in one shape. So it's very important to match these two. If you are matching only, if you don't know exactly what happened, and if you match some other trade which is not related to your ledger, like the internal trade which is booked, then you are just cross matching the entries. So it happens a lot. It happens for the I've seen in the stock lending where we normally settle the stock leg just for into pieces, because when stock loan trades are booked in the with the counterparties, they get returned or borrowed back into pieces. So it's very important to understand what you are matching, so that it should not create a break in the position. If it is, if there is any difference in position in the in your bank book, then there is a difference. That difference will create issue at the trading side. They will not get a clear picture at how many shares they are holding. So it's very important to match stock by stock and cash by cash. The same will happen with the cash settlement. When you're settling the trade, when the trade is booked for 100, for example, if it is booked, one share is for $100, then after settlement, whatever is buy or sell, you should match only for this trade with 100, with the statement and your internal ledger. They should match exactly. These are really important, matching correctly, because if you don't match as per the trade, they'll create a break in our book. So it's very important to know what exactly is cash reconciliation, what exactly is the stock reconciliation, nostro depot. I'll cover this one in the next video because it will be a little bit vast, and I'll try to cover as much as I can in the next video. Second one is the custody recon. So you must be asking, why custody recon? What's the difference between the trade recon and the custody one? So the logic behind the custody recon, like when I was working for a bank where I was acting as a custodian for a different investment advisor, so or institution, you can say. So now here, how does it work? Custodian is holding your all shares, and whatever the investment advisor for investment, just take it as a BlackRock. Okay, now BlackRock as a custodian with Citi. Now BlackRock is not going to hold everything in his book. He has hired Citi as a custodian, so everything will be at Citi. So, and Citi will maintain the BlackRock position, number of shares, everything. He will also manage the corporate actions and everything. The custodian manages everything. Now, when the BlackRock placed a trade, or buy or sell, whatever it is, this instruction will be sent out to the custodian. Now, the custodian is holding whatever the number of shares. For the trade was for 100 shares, custodian will deliver or sell or receive or buy that 100 share. Now, the custodian is sending the instruction, like he's working as a mediator. So custodian is reach out to the counterparty. Now the counterparty, it could be direct one, or the counterparty is also shared, he must have also shared everything with his custodian. So for example, JP. So counterparties, all the stocks and everything is managed by JP Morgan. So in this situation, Citi will send instructions to JP Morgan. JP Morgan will validate the trade which he received from the counterparty, and then he will match and settle it. It happens a lot of time. JP Morgan received multiple instruction from different their client. They might deliver or receive someone else trade as well, so they'll match it. So that's kind of incorrect matching between the custodian. That happens a lot. So you need to match, like when city, for example, everything is good, trade is settled. Now city will send instruction to BlackRock, okay, this is what I have received or I have paid for this buy and sell. This is what the matching is. Here is reconciliations happening between the custodian and this investment institution, whatever the company is. So there will be a reconciliation between these two book. There will be reconciliation between these two book as well, because the custodian will try to match whatever the trade was booked and settled at their end. So it's very important for a custodian to maintain their book, what amount of shares they have delivered or what amount of shares they have received. And why they do that? Because they are holding a bank account for BlackRock. So for the account they are managing, they need to be clear, and their book and BlackRock book should match always. So that's the reason it's very important to know, like, if your organization is directly dealing in the exchange or if it is settling to a custodian. From a custodian perspective, they manage their own recon, they manage their own settlement. Just because they have to take care of all these things, their process is really very, you can say, as a risky, like there's a risk in their process because they have to maintain their client relationship. So that's the one for the custody recon. Now the third one is a forward recon. So I'm not sure if you guys are aware of this recon. Many places this recon is performed by middle office. This recon is also performed by the recon. It depends upon the company structure, how they want to divide this recon into between middle office or the reconciliation team. So what is this forward reconciliation? So forward reconciliation is actually known as front office and back office reconciliation. And I know from a reconciliation, when I was working for reconciliation, we used to get these, like we have been assigned the forward reconciliation. Ideally, it should be the front office application and then the back office application. So front office application means whatever the position they are holding in their book, that should match with your back office applications. Like in your book, the back office team, they have their applications, each and every entry should match with them. Whatever trade was booked, it should exactly be matching with the back office reconciliation. Like some of them are using TLM, some are using IntelliMatch, some of them are using their own inbuilt application. So whatever the holding, front office knows it should match with your back office, that yes, there is 100 shares in both the book. If there is a difference in between these two, front office and back office, it means somewhere there is something wrong. Could be possible trade was not booked properly, or could be possible there was a trade but some flow was missing between front office and back office. So that will also create an issue. Now, if for example, if the trade was booked properly for 100 share in front office, by the time it flowed to back office it was 100 share, but settlement, something happened, and because of some incorrect settlement, the position is not reflecting in the back office book. But as per trader, he delivered 100 shares, so for him it's like 0. Here, if the trade was failed or not delivered, something happened, they're holding the 100 shares still. There will be a difference between these two book, front office application and back office application. So that's kind of a break. Sometimes it happens, this cancel incorrect happens on the trade, and like due to the system, you might receive the flow like later a day, or you sometimes you don't receive the flow as well. Here, like they must have cancelled corrected, they have done some changes, but it didn't flow down to back office. Here they didn't get the flow, then there will be difference between these two, front office or back office. It's very important to know, like when you are doing the reconciliation for any of these, this should always match, because if it is not matching, trading will be they will not get the exact position in their book, and they might trade, for example, they might trade something like they might short on the trade, even if they see there is 1,000 position, but it was not been properly means reflected in their book, but they actually not holding anything, so they were short that share. So that's like a that's exactly scenarios I have seen sometimes. So it's very important to always match the front office and back office reconciliation. So now why it is done by middle office? Mostly the middle office are responsible to look after the book, look after the sometimes the P&L as well. They also manage traders book, so they know like which trading trader has which book, and they try to keep that book flat or just match everything with the back office system. So middle office, that's why this process mostly you must have seen with the middle office. But in back office, sometimes, like in back office, I mean the reconciliation, they sometimes manage this process, but always there will be a middle office who will be looking after this process apart from back office as well. I was working for a couple of banks where I know like we had process of the FOBO, that is with the reconciliation team. So their job was to match, reconcile everything whatever is booked and whatever is showing in the front office system and the back office system. So basically they used to match the position what front office is showing and what back office is showing. If there's any difference, then they directly raise that to middle office. Okay, we see a difference between these two books, it's not matching. Then middle office, what they do, they will cross check all the trades which was traded in that book, and they'll try to find out what happened. Is there something wrong? Some booking is missing, or something like error in due booking, or something error in the booking, or whatever it is. They will reconcile, and then they will try to fix that issue. If it is out of their reach, they will reach out to front office that okay, we see these issues and something is wrong. So it's totally depend how these processes are designed in different organizations and how they are managing these books. At the end, you are just working on the trader's book, I'll say, because whatever recon you are performing, trade recon, custody recon, or forward recon, front office is going to be impacted if something is wrong. If something is wrong, something incorrect matching happened, front office will get impacted, and they get impacted because of incorrect matching, incorrect cash reconciliation, incorrect stock reconciliation, incorrect custody reconciliation, because they will not reflect the correct position. Custody might be short, you don't know, the trade was not like they were not holding that position, could be any multiple reasons are there. So it's very important for the reconciliation team to just pay attention on each and everything, how they're performing the recon. So I would suggest just watch my next video. I'm going to cover the trade recon. I'll try to cover most of the part in trade recon, including the stock reconciliation, cash reconciliation, whatever you say, the nostro or depot. I'll try to cover the trade recon. Then I'll move on with the custody and the forward recon. These two will be very short because they don't have much differentiation between the trade and these all. Whatever the structure, whatever the reconciliation get performed in the trade recon, these two will almost have the same thing. Forward recon will be a little bit different, but it's not like you won't find a major difference. Mostly this is just managed like this forward reconciliation will be like kind of matching the position. So it's not it's not very different from the trade recon. Just keep watching my videos. I'm going to post the next video, so that one will definitely help you to understand about the trade recon, and this will definitely, this is going to help all those who wants to pursue their like career in the investment banking and in these process like reconciliation or settlement. Feel free to ask me any question. I'll be happy to help you. I'll be happy to answer all like whatever I know. I'll try to answer them very soon. So keep following me. Just subscribe me, like my videos. If you're really enjoying this video, if you're learning from these videos, that will be very helpful if you can comment and pass on the same video to your friends.